Venza's mission statement is guiding good people to do great things. Hospitality is our industry. Over 10,000 hotels worldwide count on our award-winning white glove guidance. We help properties with data security and compliance, so guest data stays safe from breaches. We have a mountaineering theme. We believe higher ground makes for better visibility and better defense. Data security is like mountain climbing, in that success comes from a steady, methodical approach. Our Intel dashboard is your information center. Our portal allows you to track progress, and like all members of your organization, to become more aware of data security, covering important topics such as the GDPR.
When something is done by design, it implies intent from the start. The first full page, Recital 4, of the General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, states that the processing of personal data should be designed to serve mankind. Although this sounds more like philosophy than law, it establishes a principle that is repeated throughout the regulation. Privacy by design certainly isn't new to EU data regulations, but with this new law, the principles of minimizing data collection and retention, as well as establishing consent from consumers when processing data, are more explicitly formalized. Data controllers must establish internal policies to ensure that data privacy protection is an organizational standard. Measures must also be taken to fulfill those standards, such as maintaining documentation and conducting data protection impact assessments. The GDPR aligns the protection of personal data to the EU's Charter of Fundamental Rights. The protection of personal data is as much a right as the freedom of expression and the right to a fair trial. The more sensitive the data, the more careful those processing the data must be. Processing data carries risk if a failure to protect it can negatively impact one's well-being through physical or material damage, discrimination or theft, financial loss, etc. Assessing risk must be done in connection with the nature, scope, context, and purpose of the data processing. More details on this concept are provided in the GDPR Privacy Impact Assessment step. Consideration of the risks associated with processing sensitive personal data is expected and required of all organizations that process data. This is the essence of privacy by design. A concept closely associated with privacy by design is pseudonymization. The law indicates that data controllers and processors must implement technical measures to protect personal data. Just as authors might use pseudonyms to hide or protect their identity, organizations may encrypt or perform some pseudonymization of data to ensure privacy. Any information relating to a natural person is considered personal data. Sensitive data are types of personal information that require additional safeguards. Data that reveals racial or ethnic origin, religious or philosophical beliefs, trade union membership, biometric data, health, sexuality and/or sexual orientation, and one's criminal record are just some examples of sensitive data. Online identifiers such as cookies or IP and MAC addresses, as well as radio frequency identification RFID tags, also fall into the category of personal data. Please note, although most of our attention has been on how the GDPR requires organizations to protect the personal data of guests, the law applies to processing personal data about their workforce as well. In today's hospitality industry, a lot of the processing is done automatically through software systems. Whether the data is processed partly or entirely, automatically or via paper-based systems, requirements of the GDPR still apply.